Compress activity, collapse time frames. The big secret of success. I have people ask me all the time, Hubert, how in the world did you get such a big organization and make all kinds of money? Certainly, some of my keys have been building and training large numbers and duplicating myself as a leader. But another factor that has had a tremendous effect on my success has been my building time frames. Time management is one of the most important skills needed to build a super hierarchy. Since time is the major investment you'll make, you have to get the maximum return for your efforts. We all have 24 hours each day, but somehow two people with the same apparent abilities and opportunities can get vastly different results. I'll bet there are some other people who have talked to as many people or been exposed to as many prospects as I have, but who have never built a super hierarchy. Why? Because they hired and trained over a much larger time span. The results of your efforts are in direct relation to the time frames in which you work. Think of it like cutting grass. If you spent 60 minutes cutting your grass, you would probably get a well-groomed lawn. But if the same 60 minutes was spread over 7 or 8 days in short increments, the desired results just wouldn't be there. The same thing happens in building. If you bring one person on board per month for 3 months consecutively, you are diluting your efforts with too much time. By the time person number 3 is committed, number 1 may have lost interest. It may not have looked to him as if you knew what you were talking about when you told him about the big picture. What if you hired those same 3 people in 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, or how about in 1 hour? These people see each other. They actually get to be in the room at the same time, and you have a team forming. They're sharing war stories and cheering each other on and keeping each other excited about the opportunity and the crusade. By compressing activity, you get different results. Intensify your efforts. What happens when you compress gas? It explodes. How did I build such a huge hierarchy? I built and trained and built and trained until things exploded. By putting pressure on yourself and keeping up momentum all the time, you'll cause an explosion of your own. I remember one time very early in my career sitting down with one of my first new leaders. It was May 1st, 1978, and we were trying to figure out a plan of attack for the next few months. He had all these prospects, and I had all these prospects, and we sifted through our list and determined the best ones. We were excited. We wanted to make some progress. So we looked at our calendar and figured out who we could see from 8 to 12 and who we could see from 12 to 6 p.m. and who else we could see later that night. Altogether, we wanted to make about 60 sales over the next 12 months. All of a sudden, we said, why don't we do this stuff this month? All in the month. We went out and did it. My leaders' earnings were $14,200 and mine were $14,500. We didn't hit our goal of $30,000, but we came close. More importantly, it changed me forever. It just blew my mind and made a different person out of both of us. You must learn to concentrate, to focus, to intensify your efforts. As you look at most successful people, you'll find that they probably compressed more activity into tighter time frames than others at the critical time in their growth. There are plenty of smaller teams that work just as hard, but the factor of too much time dilutes their efforts. If the pilot of a large jet airliner doesn't get after it within the limits of the runway and get the speed up to 140 miles per hour, the magical lift-off speed, we won't become airborne no matter what else he does. When I first started as a part-time sales representative, I always planned more appointments than I could keep. I would constantly call from one home to the next to reschedule my visit as I was having success. I never allowed myself to take the night off just because my appointment either called to cancel out, wasn't at home, or wasn't interested. Too many of us rationalize valuable hours away by using the poor excuse that I tried. Ladies and gentlemen, trying is lying. Either you're going to do it or you're not. Some important keys to remember are: develop a burning desire, a magnificent obsession. Crystallize your thinking, set a goal. Develop a game plan with clear steps and a deadline for attainment. Use a calendar and follow it daily. Become a student of the business. Become an expert at what you do. Don't let up for any reason, no slack. Use the ish principle. Example, I'll see you 7-ish. This could mean up to 7:30 or 8 o'clock p.m. That's what I'm talking about. I do use the ish factor already. Once you lift off, you must continue to climb until you reach the desired altitude and speed, or you'll never reach your goal. Too many times, you'll recruit a few people and ease off. You'll fall victim to the temptation of quitting. Imagine what would happen if the pilot of an airplane shut off the engine just after liftoff. Don't ever let up. Momentum is such a rare and valuable asset. Obtain it and don't ever lose it. When you find your next recruit, start that day to help him build his team. Maximize non-productive hours. There's always going to be some time in the day when you physically can't recruit or build your team. When I'm in the car driving or flying somewhere or waiting on someone, I listen to success tapes in order to collapse time frames. I also use my car phone to call people in my hierarchy and give them good news or motivate them. Learn what the law of averages is building and put the laws of high numbers into effect. But get after it right now, whether you're ready or not. If you hire and train 10 people personally in the next 30 days, you'll find that only about 3 or 4 winners will be emerged, and you'll have about 24 to 25 total new people in that period. 12 by addition and 12 to 13 by multiplication. After you start to lay your foundation, group meetings such as home or office opportunity meetings allow you to maximize your time. By working in large groups, you are making many first presentations, visiting several homes, training many new recruits, all in the same hour. Whatever you are planning to do in the next year, do it next month. Don't next month work next week. Let next week be completed tomorrow or in the next hour. I promise you the rewards will be worth it, and your life will never be the same. You'll be propelled from mediocrity to excellence. Magic of the Blitz. I found that short 2 to 3 day blitz work best when you are leading and motivating part-timers. It's very hard to keep a part-timer intense and excited about something over a long period of time. Their regular job and other factors get in the way. I've had great success, as have many of my leaders, in having a policy pickup PPW blitz from Wednesday morning through Saturday night. I've also done recruiting blitz, sales blitz, and invitee blitz for opportunity meetings. Remember, when you are blitzing, that you don't do it for a long period of time, like 30, 60, or 90 days. A blitz is a surge within this period of time. Blitzes are all out intensive attack on the mediocrity. They may start momentum. If you wanted to start building your super hierarchy today, you might plan a blitz to get things going. When all else fails, the blitz gets you to charge. But always remember, the first person you have to get moving is you. Don't just try to get your team moving. The only way to have a successful blitz is for you to lead the pack. Stretch for success. One of the most successful tools I have used to produce new levels of activity have been my Stretch for Success method. It is based on what I call the volcanic eruption principle. After a volcano erupts, what happens? The lava flows down to the sides of the mountain. When it's hardened, you have a new and bigger mountain. Then the next time it erupts, what happens? You know you're going to get an even bigger mountain because of the layer underneath. It's amazing how you can produce the same effect with activity in your office. If you work towards a big eruption in your growth, then you will find that your new production low from that point on is higher than your old production high. The way to create an eruption is to challenge your people with some very simple performance incentives. Run this contest for 1 month's time and call it a super month. I like to give my months catchy names like Nuclear November and Gigantic July. This helps from a mental picture in the team's mind. Cap off the end of the contest with a big event such as an award banquet and give lots of recognition. You'll find that your future low production month will always be higher than your old high production months. the magic of 90-day Madman cycles. You can do anything for 90 days. All you have to do is set goals, develop a game plan, put your head down, and go for it. I've developed a 90-day Madman cycle that can produce incredible results during a year's time. Looking at the chart, you see that I have established 4 90-day cycles. They are concurrent, meaning that they overlap with no gap in between. You don't work like mad for 90 days and then take a break. There's no slack if you finish your goals for the first 90 days early. Then you start immediately on the goals for the second 90. Now look at the first cycle, beginning in this one and catch one thereafter. You go out and get 6 to 12 personal recruits. The actual goal will depend upon your individual market and your personal recruiting capabilities. You spend 90 days recruiting and training these people. During that time, you will be able to identify and develop 1 to 3 fireball leaders. In the second days, you start another expansion. You work to find and train another 6 to 12 people and develop 1 to 3 new leaders. In addition, you've got to go back and continue to make sure the momentum you started in cycle 1 is still going to do that. You go back and work with people from cycle 1. Don't just plunge ahead from cycle 2, expecting what you did in cycle 1 to perpetuate itself. Even though you have tried to develop new leaders to help with training and motivation, you are still ultimately responsible. You must be there to help those who want and deserve your assistance. Remember our Chinaman with the spinning plates? Every time he got a new plate spinning, he had to go back to his first one and give them another turn to keep things going. The rest of the chart is somewhat self-explanatory. You move into your third and fourth 90 days with the same goal as the first 2 cycles. By the time you reach cycle 4, you should have 20 to 50 new people and somewhere between 5 to 15 strong leaders. Your office will be running at a high quality level, producing about 100 sales a month and 50,000 in premium. During your Madman cycles, you should try not to get too high or too low, and you should not stop for any reason. All I did when I moved to Denver was to put together 8 consecutive 90-day Madman cycles in the 2 years I was there. This effort laid the foundation for the giant explosion of my super hierarchy. When I moved back to Georgia, I just continued with 8 more cycles. And when I restarted my base here almost 2 years ago, I did 8 more cycles in 2 years. This positioned me for another major explosion. The whole story of Hubert and Humphrey's success has been just a linking together continuously of 90-day Madman cycles. In this process, I have been able to duplicate this downline and produce leaders who do their own Madman cycles. Review the results of your efforts only after 90 days. After you make your assessment, recommit for another 90 days for the new and greater goals, or consider getting out of this business. Don't be discouraged if your first 90 days didn't turn out exactly according to plan. If you were just a salesman, you probably would have been able to see immediate results from the beginning of your first 90 days. But you are in management and you are building for the future. Explode to excellence. Your goal is collapsing time frames and compressing activity is to begin a tradition of excellence in your super hierarchy. If you get to the speed I just mentioned and maintain your base at 100 sales a month, you'll probably be promoting people every couple of months. Remember that you must continually cultivate new leaders. If you maintain a thriving, producing base, you'll set a strong example for your newly promoted leaders. They'll have greatness in their genes, and they will naturally want to follow the example set by their leader. I have found that when my base shop is the biggest, the RVPs I produce are motivated to produce more. They haven't just been promoted out of my office, they've exploded out. Like energy from a supernova, they aren't comfortable with a little bitty base shop for themselves. They come out with their vision stretched and they are on fire. The chart on the following pages depicts this concept. It shows how after 3 RVPs have exploded out, you become an SVP with a strong base shop. After 4 more RSVPs, you become a national sales director. Building a super hierarchy basically comes down to two options: the long grind out way, number two, the explosive supernova way that perpetuates a tradition of excellence. Which do you choose? Building principle. The speed of the leader determines the speed of the team. Do it first. Lead by example. People won't follow you just because you talk a good game. Do it first. Sales is a business of momentum. When you get momentum, you must get all you can get. Develop a sense of urgency and never let up, whether conditions are good or bad.